Welcome to episode 5 of Talk to Ringside Live, brought to you by Ringside Boxing Australia. My name is Ahmad, and today we will be discussing the different types of boxing hand wraps. Now, many newcomers to the sport of boxing tend to have a misconception of them not needing to wear hand wraps just because they have very well padded boxing gloves. Now, no matter how well padded your boxing gloves are, they do not protect the small joints and bones in your hand. Now, the hand is made up of several small joints and bones. Therefore, it is necessary to wear boxing hand wraps. Why? I'm about to explain to you. So, what boxing hand wraps do is they tend to provide sufficient protection to the small joints and bones in your hand. So on the inside here, throughout the wrist, on the top of the knuckles, there are several small joints and bones that the boxing hand wraps protect. What they tend to do is they first of all compress and align the small joints in the hand, and then what they do is they tighten the soft tissues in your hand at their most vulnerable point, and that is when you're basically punching and the impact of the punch is coming through your hand. So as we see here, this here is called the metacarpus. It is made of 5 metacarpal bones. They're named the thumb metacarpal, index metacarpal, middle metacarpal, ring metacarpal, and small metacarpal. They make up your palm. So what tends to happen is the hand wraps, when they go around them, they keep their structure. So when you're punching and all that shock is coming through your hand, it keeps them nice and sturdy. Our hands are not loose. Our hands are not vulnerable to injury. Now, I'm not saying that you won't get injured, but I'm saying the likelihood of you getting injured is much less. Point number 2 is the corpus itself, which is known as the wrist area here. This corpus is made of 8 different bones, and those 8 different bones are known as the corpus, or the actual wrist area. The hand wrap, when it goes around it, it makes sure that it keeps its structure. It's nice, firm and sturdy, and so when that punch comes through, you got all the shock coming through your hand up to your wrist. It's nice and sturdy and safe. So one of the most common injuries to the metacarpus is a fracture, and that's known as a boxer's injury. Therefore, we need to make sure we wrap our hands before every single session, because at the end of the day, we need to protect the most important tool to us in the sport of boxing. Whether you're doing it for fitness, whether you're a professional, it doesn't matter what you're doing it for. In order to box, you need to use your hands. So if we keep them nice and protected and sturdy, injury free, we can sustain ourselves longer in the sport and enjoy it much more. The last thing you want is to be training and you're feeling all this pain going through your hands. It starts to irritate you. It turns you off the sport you basically love. So now we've discussed why we should wear hand wraps. Now let's talk about the different types of hand wraps. So what we have cotton hand wraps. Cotton hand wraps tend to be inexpensive. They provide sufficient support to your hands. They range between 150 to 170 inches for adults and 95 to 120 inches for juniors. But the disadvantage with cotton hand wraps is, one thing I really don't like about them is they tend to stiffen up over time. So as you wrap your hand, they don't contour to your hand as well. Whereas with the second type of hand wrap that we're about to talk about and explain, it's the Mexican style hand wrap. I've got a Mexican style hand wrap here with me. Now what you'll realize is One of the key different features with the Mexican style hand wraps is the elasticity of the actual hand wrap. If you look, you see it's much more elastic. Therefore, it allows the boxer to wrap his hand, and when he does so, it contours around the hand much better and gives you a much better fit and much more comfortable while punching and training. These tend to range between 180 to 200 inches. They're used by many boxers much more than cotton hand wraps because they are much more elastic, they're more comfortable, they can tour around the hand much better. Therefore, while training, you don't have to worry about adjusting your hand wraps. Your hands are nice and comfortable and protected and firm. The third type of hand wrap is basically the gel shock hand wrap. So what we have here is a gel shock hand wrap. So what the difference is, gel shock hand wraps tend to have some sort of embedded foam on the knuckle area. As you can see here, there's protection right on that knuckle area, just all the way through. And they tend to be just slip on, so you can basically wrap them on. Now if you notice, you pay attention, with this sort of hand wrap here, I can't just slip it on. With this one here, I can. See, there's the embedded foam, so, and there's the Velcro where I can just pull my hand straight into it. Got an easy fix, and then we're all sweet. Right, we're ready to put the blocker over. We're ready to go. So that's the simple solution for those that don't want to bother and go through and wrap their hands. But a common issue with them is they don't provide enough support around the wrist. So a lot of boxers, people who do fitness, tend to tell us that the standard gel hand wraps, they feel a bit of pain in their wrists due to the lack of wrist support. Hence why at Ringside we've basically thought ahead and come up with a product that provides both. You've got your gel shock hand wrap, you've got the slip-on hand wrap, which happens through here. Unrip the Velcro, you can put your fingers through, whatever comes around, and then you got another 180 to 200 inches of hand wrap to make sure you got the extra support on your wrist. You're nice and comfortable. You can take it up as high as you want, you can bring it down, whatever you're comfortable with. So that's one of the solutions to wearing gel shock hand wraps and having an adequate amount of wrist support. Hand wraps are a very important part of a boxer's training session. You should have them on before every session. They're not just hand wraps, they provide a lot of support, as we explained earlier, to your hands. The different types of hand wraps are suited to different people differently. So some people like the traditional form of hand wrap with the Mexican hand wraps. Some people like the gel shock hand wraps with the extra wrist support, and then some people like your standard gel shock hand wrap with not as much wrist support, but it's quick, fast and convenient. Thank you very much for watching. Be sure to tune in next Wednesday 1 p.m. Melbourne local time. Any questions you have, feel free to comment in the comment section or hashtag us on Twitter, Instagram or Facebook. Talk to Ringside Live. See you all next week.